Welcome to the Friends and Rivals podcast.
Hey, big boy. Why do I feel like that could be a website? Tight 18.
Let's talk Devils and Islanders. Let's talk Penguins and Rangers. But let's not talk about Flyers, cause they're a bunch of fucks, which no one can deny. Which no one can deny.
You got the A team tonight, as it's just Bill and I, since Tom and Nick apparently have better things to do. Bill, how you doing tonight?
Feeling sexy.
Listen
I hope all of our listeners can hear
Listen to that
the
guy.
difference in my voice.
He's all healthy now, and he's got a new microphone, which is hooked up and working properly.
Yeah, I was talking into it last week, but apparently it was only the computer. So I was like sitting here talking into this microphone that you, Steve, see in the Zoom call. But apparently that was just pointless because I was just talking to the computer USB.
It was all for
the
show
built-in
for us.
computer mic.
We
Yeah.
appreciated the show, but you sound much better tonight. And I'm happy that it's just you and I on here, so we don't have to hear those other two assholes.
Oh, good
talking
Lord.
about their
Them
teams.
with their fucking New York teams. Ugh.
So we're just going to jump right in, and we are going to ride the Metro. Sponsored by Nestle Quick.
They say the real men drink pink. Then I'm a real man for sure. But if you like the brown, I still love you for who you are. Because it's time for acceptance of everyone, all preference. We're all quick on the inside anyway. Nestle Quick, it does the trick.
Tonight we're going to start. Bill is going to be the super sub tonight for the Rangers. I'm going to be the sub for the Islanders, so we will kick it off tonight with Rangers talk. Bill, take it away.
Well, the Rangers. Wait. I'm sorry. I'm here to talk about your first place.
I didn't think I'd have to hear that.
New York Rangers. You know, our podcast would be like 12 minutes shorter if you didn't have to go over what place they were in every time.
Every time.
Jesus.
So annoying.
The Rangers this week beat the Flyers in overtime. Whoop-de-doo. They beat the Avalanche. They beat the Avalanche, and the interesting thing there was that Nathan MacKinnon had scored in every fucking home game up until that point. Like he had like a 65, 67 home point streak.
Really?
Unbelievable, right? He had a point in every single game until the Rangers, and then all of a sudden Avalanche scored twice in that game. No goals, no assists for Nate. So that streak ended, and the Rangers ended up winning that game in a shootout. And then they had another win. They went to Arizona and beat that hapless Coyotes team 8-5. And Alexis Lafreniere. We have to pretend that he's not a fucking failure this week because he had a hat trick in that game against the shitty Coyotes.
Yeah.
Hat trick in a 5-point game. And he's only 22 years old, and he had a 5-point game. Whoop-de-doo against the Coyotes.
Now he's turning it all around now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, next stop, All-Star. Yeah, right. But he has now career highs in goals and points, and he's playing with fucking Panarin. I mean, I probably have 15 goals myself if I played with Panarin the way he's going this season. And so 8-5 win, but they're getting lit up. You know, like they gave up like 10 goals between the Flyers and the Avalanche. So I don't know what they're doing defensively. And then the Penguins beat Shesterkin tonight, more like he's jerking in the net. So a little bit of a blip. Somehow they lost to the Penguins tonight, which is odd. But they're still in good shape for first place and the President's Trophy and all that kind of shit, which is good news for the rest of us who aren't necessarily rooting for them because only 2 President's Trophy winners in the last 20 years have won the Stanley Cup. One was the Red Wings in 08 and then the 2013 Blackhawks. So that hasn't happened in like over a decade. So we can kind of anticipate an early exit out of them. If they do pull off that President's Trophy. It's the kiss of death these days. So
Speaking at the wrong time.
That's it. Giving up a lot of goals. And Trouba came back. Trouba returned from whatever he was. Yeah, he was injured, right? Trouba came back, but nobody went out in a stretcher the last two games, so he's not on his game yet. So I don't know. Yeah, something's off. Something's off with the Rangers. All of a sudden, they lost to the Penguins tonight. So
Apparently, there was some sort of controversial hit tonight,
oh, was
and
there?
and Twix was all ablaze that if Rempe or Trouba had committed the hit, we would be talking about suspension. So I was taking it that it was somebody on the Penguins who hit a Ranger that all these Ranger fans thought warranted some sort of disciplinary action.
Oh, I'll have to check that out because didn't really get to watch that game. I had other stuff going on tonight, but I'm gonna guess if anybody in that lineup was gonna hit somebody, it'd probably be Bunting. But I'll have to go research that one, and
It's
we'll
Rangers
talk about
fans,
that
so
one
it
next
really
week.
wasn't nearly as bad as you probably
Oh
thought it
yeah,
was. Yeah.
they're talk about crybabies, man. Okay, so moving on from the Rangers, I also get to talk about I'm going to
This
talk
guy.
about Pittsburgh tonight.
2 in a row. He
Um,
gets the back-to-back.
Five in a row. The Pirates are just kicking the shit out of the National League. A four game sweep against the Marlins, and then a win tonight in Washington. They start out 5-0 on the road. Timely 2-out hitting. It's been wonderful being a Pirate fan for
when we said you're going to talk about Pittsburgh, we meant the Penguins, I think.
Oh, do I have to? All right.
But
well, I mean, actually, not a terrible. All things considered, not a terrible week for them. They beat Carolina last week, 4-1, and then they had a home and home with Columbus where they won one of them, lost one of them in overtime. Every game that goes to overtime, the Penguins lose either that in overtime or a shootout. There's not even a question. Doesn't matter who they're playing. But yeah, they did blow a 2-goal lead in the third period against Columbus in that loss. What else is new? But then they beat the Rangers tonight, and Crosby had 3 points. And I think if he hasn't clinched his 82nd point, he either has 81 or 82 points right now. I gotta check it out. But that was like one of the things that Penguins fans are left rooting for was him to get a point per game, to tie Gretzky's record of 19 consecutive seasons doing that. So it looks like if he doesn't have it yet, then it's almost a sure thing at this point. And he's also trying to chase down Phil Esposito to be 10th on the all-time list, which he has a decent chance of doing. I think he needs 7 or 8 more points. They've got about 7 games to go, I think. So chance that he moves into the top 10 all time this season too. And that's really all we've got to root for. The only other thing on the Penguins is that the interesting thing is Tristan Jarry's disappearing act has left Alex Nedeljkovic to be the starter. So Nedeljkovic has gotten all the starts this week where the Penguins didn't get destroyed because the last 10 games. Jarry, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Jarry. I'm gonna have to trust that Mike Sullivan, and Dubas maybe have an understanding of what's going on there. It's a really bad look that he just started looking terrible when the Penguins stopped really having a chance at the playoffs. Not a good look that it kind of, the perception could be that he's just kind of quit on the team. But his save percentage over the last 10 games, .875, and he had been playing really well this season. So like, just because of the timing of it looks bad, but maybe there's something physically going on with him. I couldn't say because they don't really disclose that sort of thing. I almost hope for the benefit of the doubt that there is something going on with him physically, because he was just terrible the last several games, and then and Nedeljkovic has been really good. So Jarry is pretty much could be done for the season. Who knows what the next week brings.
I mean, at this point, just shut him down. Save him for next year.
But with a hot goalie in Wilkes-Barre and others playing well in Scranton, there could be a new guy in town next season with Joel Blomqvist, who's been really lighting it up down there. So we'll see, Jarry, if he's really just tanking, then upper management's probably going to take notice, and he's got a contract, but he might be a candidate to be moved.
Modified no trade clause. So he's got like a 12-team no trade list. So it's not unmovable. He's not unmovable at this point. It's just not a good look for him, to just quit on the year.
Yeah.
Once they were out of the playoffs.
So go Pirates, and that's all I got for Pittsburgh.
Well, I will take the baton and talk about the week that was in New Jersey Devils land. 6-3 victory over Toronto. And it really had the fans feeling good. Like, maybe we do have a shot at this after all. especially with a weak game against Buffalo coming up. It was really nice, again, just to stick with that Toronto game. While they did allow the first goal, it was nice to see the big names getting on the board. We get goals from Luke, Nico, Timo, and 2 from Jack. They battled back from a goal down 2 separate times. So it was really like you were thinking this team might be able to put together that run that they really needed to go on in order to get back into contention. And then they've just followed that up with a real fucking sleeper of a game against Buffalo last Friday. 5-2 loss with an empty netter, so 4-2 plus the empty netter. They scored 2 goals in the first period, and they went in the first intermission with a 2-0 lead, and just fell apart during the intermission. 4 goals from Tage Thompson on the night against. The second and third period, they just couldn't get anything generated in the center of the rink. It was all perimeter shots. So it was very, very, very disappointing, especially coming off that Toronto win with the effort they gave on Friday. Timo has been a bright spot during this recent stretch of a little bit better play. He had 22 points in the first 43 games. He's got 23 points in his last 17, which kind of coincides with the dismissal of the coach. So maybe there was something to that he wasn't being used properly.
Things
this week
that make you go,
exactly. This week upcoming, they got Pittsburgh on Tuesday, the Rangers on Wednesday, and then 2 days off, and then another back-to-back. It's really weird. It's a back-to-back, 2 days off, and a back-to-back. Ottawa on Saturday versus Nashville on Sunday. What are your feelings about games against the other conference in April? Like, should the last 10 games of the season be saved to play within your conference?
Yeah, I think they should, and even load it even more with teams
within the
that are in your
division.
division, yeah, because we want those games to be really meaningful, and playing non-conference games has kind of less impact. I mean,
yeah,
they need the points or whatever, yeah, but like it's you want to see teams that are kind of geared up, going for the same thing, competing for the same spots. I think that's, yeah, I like that better.
Almost like load those Western Conference games up in the first half of the season even would be good.
Yeah, I agree. Like when people are still kind of following football and being more casually
when they're really not paying attention.
Hockey, yeah.
That's going to bring us over to the Islanders. The Islanders had a victory on the 28th of March, 3-2 victory over Florida. Semyon Varlamov made 27 saves. Something named Jean-Gabriel Pajot scored the goal-ahead goal midway through the second period. Blah, 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 blah. And then they followed that up with a 4-1 loss against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Pavel Palmieri scored. Varlamov finished with 38 saves for the Islanders, who are 2-7-1 in their last 10 games. They trail Washington by 5 points for third place in the Metro, and 5 points behind the Flyers for the second wild card. This week upcoming, they've got their Flyers tonight. Let's see how they're doing, because I really don't give a shit.
Fuck the Flyers.
Fuck the fucking Flyers, for real. Fuck them. And that's exactly what the Islanders did. 4-3 in overtime. So that doesn't really help anybody. They let the Flyers salvage a point. Then they've got, I don't know, somebody tomorrow and somebody on Thursday. Columbus on Thursday, and then Nashville on Saturday. So again, they got another Western Conference game to go to. I really don't care. It's the Islanders. Sorry, Nick. Who gives a shit? Yeah, any team that wears blue and orange can go fuck themselves at this point.
Wait a minute. Just in hockey, or
no, in any sport. Fucking,
wow.
You go nothing into the 10th inning, and you allow 5 runs. That's just terrible.
Holy shit!
They gave up a grand slam in the 10th inning after basically no hitting the other team for 6 innings, and they're going to lose the game. So fuck them. Fuck the Islanders. Fuck the Mets. Fuck the Devils.
And how many wins do the Mets have so far this season?
Fuck this podcast. Fuck you. Fuck the Pirates. Fuck the Yankees.
Sorry, Pete.
And that's going to take us to Money Talks with special guest Bill.
Money, it's a gas. Grab that cash with both hands and make a stash. New plug, give a fuck, G and daydream. Think I'll buy me a hockey team.
Well, I don't know how Nick does this every week. Okay, Steve, give me 1 second while I open up my spreadsheet.
Oh, God.
Oh
my God, it's so colorful and beautiful. Pivot tables and everything.
And it takes a while to come up because it's 3.1 gigabytes and it has 69 tabs.
69 tabs.
Okay, so my spreadsheet, and this week's episode was about how the Islanders dynasty was the most dominant of any dynasty in the history of NHL dynasties.
Whoa.
So you'll clearly see in my spreadsheet here that we're comparing them. Like, first of all, I threw out like the Penguins or the Devils or the Chicago Blackhawks. These three Stanley Cup dynasties, they don't count. You got to have like 4+.
Four cups.
Three is bullshit. That's like I'm not saying those teams aren't great.
Hurts, but okay.
They were more kind of lucky to get like 3 championships.
Lucky,
not like so dominant so much.
Definitely.
Especially when they weren't consecutive.
You can clearly see that on your spreadsheet.
So yes, thank you. So 4+ dynasties. So we're talking about comparing them to like the Red Wings or Les Habitants or the Edmonton Oilers, So so you'll see that I set up this formula that has that is based on consecutive championships, goal differential, total defense, and the number the hardware that they won, not just the Stanley Cups, but how many Hart trophies did we have, how many Vezinas, how many Art Ross trophies, and what was the other one, the Norris, of course, the Norris. So like the major trophy, so like how many wins they had. So clearly you could see from the results that the Islanders rule, and the Habs and the Oilers and the Red Wings all drool, and we've got that to 8 decimal places. And also I've proven without any shadow of doubt that Dennis Potvin, in fact, did not suck. Dennis Potvin was actually quite good. You see that here on my spreadsheet. So that is Money Talks with Bill. Sorry, I kind of blew through this. I'm just not used to,
It's odd that you mentioned the Art Ross trophy being factored into the equation, because I think when the Islanders won their cups, wasn't he still in the league? Might have still been in the league.
I think he was the at that point. He was kind of old at that point, but he was still the second line center for the Whalers, I believe.
And that's going to bring us to a new segment that I've just created in my mind called Douche of the Day.
Ooh.
And today's douche of the day is a coworker of mine who in IM to me used the phrase, "That video is not part of our journey." Now, you know who you are. Congratulations. You're the douche of the day.
Is this person a listener?
This person is not a listener. He's actually your host. He's your podcast. He's normally your podcast host.
Wow.
Yeah,
not part of our journey. That's good.
Just didn't want to talk to me like a human. Yeah, just didn't want to talk to me like a human. Wanted to talk to me like a hoary corporate guy, and that's what he sent to me. And I didn't have the heart to call him out on it at the time, because it was too early in the day and I wasn't really awake yet. But I will use this this podcast as an avenue to call him a douchebag.
It sounds like that from based on that email, it does sound deserved.
Yes,
at least for the day, at least for today. Douche of the day. Congratulations to our winner.
Good job. Good job. Bill, anything else you want to discuss tonight?
I don't know. How can we like kind of keep this going for like another hour and 20 minutes?
Just play the intro to one of your favorite songs.
Oh, my favorite songs. That's true. Well, we could have a little bit of a music talk segment right now.
Okay.
Very excited. Following Mike Portnoy on the social media. Mike Portnoy, the former and then current again drummer of Dream Theater. They regrouped. Mike's back in the band. They just finished their tracks on their 16th album, Dream Theater 16th album. And there will be a world tour, of course, and an album. You know, when it's announced when the album is going to come out, you will be sure that I will share that with you on our podcast.
Just waiting with bated breath to hear this announcement.
It's historical. It's amazing. Back together again. Dream come true.
This band is like a WWE tag team that's together, and then they fight, and they got to split, and then they go against each other, and then they make amends and come back together, and then they split again.
Yeah, they've had a lot of lineups. They've had
what the hell?
They got a couple former keyboard players. They a former lead singer. They got a lot of things that they left behind.
I do admire their prolific nature, the fact that they can get together and put music together and pump out all these albums. I am waiting for Counting Crows to follow up Butter Miracle Suite 1 with the second half of the album that we were promised in 2021. It's now 2024, and I've learned recently that all of the songs are written, but they're about to head out on their summer tour, so they won't get into the studio until the fall. But now they're talking about maybe going to South America in the fall, so then they won't get into this. I mean, it's 2024. Can't you just record these songs in a bathroom at this point with the software that you have on your computer?
It's just a few. It's like the second part of the suite. Like, it's not even like a full-on album, right?
It's not a full-on album. It's going to be like 5 songs, and it's not even going to be Butter Miracle Suite 2. He has decided to call it Butter Miracle Sweet Tooth, and it's not going to be a musical suite. It's just going to be 5 songs. So rather than calling it Suite 2 and confusing people as to what it really is, it's just going to be 5 individual songs. It's not going to be similar to the first suite where one song led into the other songs.
Love it, man. Love it when an artist is just rocking to his own beat. But to your point, like, if the songs are written, they could even, and they're going on tour, they could even, like, you know, when they're doing their sound checks, you know, they could feed it into the board and just play those songs and have some, you know, at least the starter of the tracks.
Absolutely no, it just doesn't seem like they care. I love them, love the band, love Adam, but they just don't seem to really want to create music as much as everybody else does. Just seems like all these other bands can write a song, record a song, and get it out in months, not, 6 months to a year.
Well, who's Adam banging these days? Like, he's
got a steady,
still on the cast of Friends, or is
he's moved on to the Golden Girls. He's got a steady girlfriend since before the pandemic.
Wow. Right.
Yeah. So, and I don't think
her boy settled down.
I think she's in like movie producing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say she's in like 12th grade.
No,
so that's okay.
I actually also discovered recently that they are going to be the subject of an HBO, like a little movie documentary. So I'm eagerly anticipating that being completed and released as well.
Yeah, that'll be cool. At some point you do just kind of want another album.
Let's give me music.
2 more songs.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. It's going to be the shortest episode you'll probably ever hear from the Friends and Rivals podcast. If you get a chance, please follow us on Twitter, friends_rivals. Billy, say something witty.
Oh, well, we're not doing trivia with Bill, obviously, because we're going to hold on to that question and then punish Tom and Nick next week for not, being here for it. But I do have to replace that segment. And so I was thinking, I had a little bit of time. I was in the bathroom, had a little bit of time, me time, just thinking about it. And then all of a sudden I had like this intense burning discharge, and it came to me. I'm like, chlamydia with Bill.
Oh, my friends and rivals. Flyers fuck, flyers fuck, flyers fuck off.